All right, so let's start with baggage. All right, now I'm going to bring some out, but we all have baggage. No matter how much we think we don't, we do. We have our unmet needs baggage, we have our lost parts baggage, and we have our protective behaviors baggage. Now, all of those go into our Imago baggage. And what does Imago mean? Imago means image, okay?
Self-image?
Image of our caregivers, believe it or not. And that, I'm going to
Caregivers
get
like my parents?
parents, grandparents, it could be any significant figure in your life. So I have one couple that her brothers were her, primary caregivers, so, that's her image. But we're going to just look at this very superficially tonight and get much more into it tomorrow because everybody has a different way of learning. So we're going to be showing videos, Dawn and I will be talking on different things differently. Again, so don't stress about what you don't get, all right? But, so,
Did you give me a test on this after this?
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Okay.
And you got
the rest of your life.
yes. And you got to get the wording exact.
So I have my lost parts baggage, okay? Then I have my protective behaviors baggage. Then I have, oops, we're having a malfunction here. Malfunction. Our unmet needs baggage.
Well, and which that unmet needs its bag wasn't met.
The bag was not met. All right? And again, visual tool. And of course we have our red part, Imago.
Of course, we're supposed to say that's a lot of baggage.
Baggage.
That's a lot of baggage!
Sorry, I didn't realize. Just laying up out there.
I thought all of those was still in that.
Well, I wish to say that I wanted to do that, like a China doll or with a little Russian doll, but I
It all
just
goes
said, you
into
know
that. Yeah, that
what?
would be good, yeah.
She usually hits me with the thing, so.
Oh, we're getting to that
Is
part.
that why it's busted up?
All right, so this, again, it's not important, don't stress, okay? But every single one of you in this room is born with full aliveness, flowing energy, and relaxed joyfulness. Everybody, okay? Everybody. And we unconsciously are drawn to our partner, and I'll show you our little wheel here, and you guys have seen this wheel. When we meet, we are in romantic love, infatuation, ecstasy. Anybody for like words that come out for them when they think about romantic love?
Sex? Sorry. What? I'm sorry.
Honest, very honest.
All right.
Well, that's.
Sex, what else? Romantic love.
Butterflies.
Butterflies, I like that. Sweaty palms. Oh, sweaty palms.
Anticipation.
Anticipation. Anybody else?
I don't know.
Got nothing?
Je
Got
ne-
nothing.
Je ne sais.
So we're in romantic love, and that's actually, believe it or not, very unconscious. So it's unconscious, reactive, and symbiotic. So honestly, I'm so in love with you that I just want to be with you all the time, and I'm completely symbiotic with you, and we never separate. All right? Then life happens, and again, I'll get more into this tomorrow, and we get into what we call the power struggle. So all of the stuff that we were feeling, lovey-dovey, the sex even, we're like, oh gosh, this is like really stinking for me right now. All right? And then we get into conflict, and what we don't realize is conflict, and again, we'll talk more about this tomorrow, is growth trying to happen. So this is all unconscious. This is conscious. This is Imago. So conscious, differentiated, and aware. The intentional dialogue gives you knowledge for doing the work, okay? Because relationships are work. I have one couple, and she does not really believe completely in, she thinks it should be a fairy tale, and the reality is fairy tales don't exist. They're wonderful stories, but they last for about 5 minutes and then you fall asleep, okay? I wish that everything could be a fairy tale. It's not reality. So this gives us the meat. This intentional dialogue awakens us and excites us, because what it does is it creates a bridge between our partner and ourselves to really have mature and real love, where joy, safety, and passion reside. And you have this wheel in your books, okay? So, and again, well, I'm just kind of going over briefly. Tomorrow we'll really get into it. Okay, so, my favorite, unmet needs. So, the environment that we needed to have to accomplish tasks, and where's my unmet needs bag? Oh, that was the one that we had a malfunction.
Yeah.
We had a little malfunction. Okay, so I'm bringing my unmet needs with me now because my environment did not support all of these things that I went through. Now we're going to get into these things tomorrow. So again, this is just gloss right now. Because again, you're going to constantly get different layers of this.
Before you met person.
Before, because this is what our parents did not understand about us. Okay? So I'll give you a personal example from my life. So my mother is a very anxious woman. And my whole childhood was spent with her anxiety and not having time for me and ignoring me and not connecting with me on any level at all. So when Don and I get into the power struggle, and Don shows anything remotely that is similar to what my mother showed me, which was maybe he's not talking, maybe he's on his phone, and he's listening but he's not focused on me, that pushes a button and I immediately get reactive. Okay? That comes from my unmet needs bag.
Interesting.
All right, now I did not get a chance to really connect fully with my mom, so I'm looking for that from him, because if I look at my own imago, Don is more like my father and my grandfather. My first husband, I married my mother. But he still has elements of my mother, and that's part of what I've grown up with. That's what we all grow up with. All right, so we have our next bag, our lost parts. Let's see, here's our lost parts. Okay, so our lost parts, we're all born with 4 beautiful ways of connecting. At our core, we are born with being able to feel, act, think, and sense. Our parents say quite often, don't act that way. What do you mean you feel that way? Why would you think that? Did anybody else ever get messages from their parents that were somewhere along this line?
Don't think that.
You never got anything?
You know.
I do know, I do. So, my mother wasn't nurturing for me and tried to dismiss my core feelings, right? So what happens? We get confused. So, and we also get lost, and we are not have the ability to tap into these things that we shove off into the shadow somewhere. These wonderful, beautiful things about ourselves. Because our parents, again, not a beat on mom and dad, but our parents just didn't know any better, because that was done to them. So then, if we look at our protective behaviors in the green bag, all right? So with our protective behaviors, they're behaviors that we learned in order to push off what was happening to us in childhood from our parents. So some of us rebelled and some of us complied. I was a rebel. You couldn't tie me down at all, ever.
I don't see that.
Oh.
You
will.
You seem like the organized type.
I am, but if I think about it, if my mother said don't do something because I would always get like squashed, I would do it anyway and then suffer the repercussions later on.
Try telling her what to think.
Right.
Yeah.
So, lucky us.
So what happens if you never had issues with your family?
Well,
You're not alive.
you're not alive. And it really isn't about us having conscious issues, because none of this is
They
really
have the issues,
conscious.
not
Of course they do.
Oh, okay, well, right. Well, and that's your issue.
So, that's very good, Dawn.
Point.
All right, so
Good point.
now, poor Dawn. So now I'm traveling through my life with my bag of Imago pack,
Okay, this is the portion where I get hit.
and I see, oh, and all of my unpacked baggage smacks right into him. And he's like assaulted by it. And like, what the heck is going on here? What did I do? Sorry, did I hurt you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You are all witnesses.
We got it on tape. It's
Right,
okay.
that's right.
Play back the tape, Mahoney.
So our Imago is actually the antidote to all three of these. Is actually the antidote if we become consciously aware of it. So Imago is, again, I had so much fun making this chart, you guys, I just have to tell you.
It looks good.
I
You did a
thank
good
you.
job.
Posted, so
I
it's
need
so
to hear,
organized.
I know, I can't
Awesome.
help myself. I'm not a PowerPoint person, I don't know, corporate world is PowerPoint, I'm like organic, I don't know. So anyway, so our Imago is our image or idea of what love looks like and feels like for us. So think about that. So just like animals are imprinted by their parents, their mother's scent, and vice versa, so are we. So all of us in this room have been imprinted by our parents, or our caregivers, or our grandparents, or siblings, whoever,
Just by the way they raised us, you mean?
just by the way they raised us.
Even if it's like subconscious? Like,
It's
even if
all
you don't realize it?
subconscious.
Oh, okay.
And that's really a great point, Chris. It's all subconscious, because we really are not aware of what's happening at the time.
Mm.
Really not aware of
Yeah,
it.
it's just the way you grow up.
And that creates a lot of your conflict because you don't even know. You know,
Yep.
sometimes you can't explain to your partner that, you know, it takes time and, you know.
I'm this way because
normal.
my
It takes
parents
your-
loved me that way or something.
But it's about it. Sometimes it's just reflective, where you don't realize that you're reacting because of something else. You don't realize where that
It's a natural reaction.
where the root is. Yeah.
It's the wrong reaction because you were taught wrong.
There's no well, I don't know. A wrong reaction. I mean, what does that mean? It's a reaction. But if you don't understand the root, see, the difference is that your reaction is what it is. Okay, but it's like what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. You can't help your first thought. Your first thought comes out of
Just flows right through you.
right. But you can address your second thought. But if you haven't had the time to reflect on where that first thought is coming from, then it makes it a lot. You're like suspended in air. You know, you can't really figure out how to deal with it yourself, let alone how to express why it's bothering you to your partner.
Your first
Does that
thought
make
is
sense?
usually like a protective or negative thought,
Defense.
just because that's how people are
Well,
wired.
it comes out of
these
your
days.
primitive brain, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
right, so it's right. So you, it is all protected. That's going to be part of my presentation tomorrow. I'm really excited.
And Steve's not gonna be
I know,
here.
but we're hoping that you're going to be here for Valentine's Day because it's really great stuff. I'm sad that you're not going to be here, but we'll do it.
Be here in spirit.
So I have the word up family, and if you think about it, we are drawn to our partner romantically because there's something familiar. And we say things like, gee, you know, I think I found my soulmate, there's something, you know, finish my thoughts, there's something about you, I
Your
can't put
mom,
my
buddy.
finger on it. You know, I just kind of feel like there's just this real, like, I've been here before, this is just so great, and we talk ourselves into this whole thing, and really, you know, and I came up with this, you know, but if it's familiar, it usually is related to our family and it's a liar. Not to say that our relationships are a lie, but it's what we're going after is not 100% the person, but more the feeling of the familiarity.
She's just like my mother.
She,
Very distinct.
I love it. I love it. So,
Should I go over there while you...
I know, right? Maybe it's time to separate them. I don't
She's
know.
gonna hit him with the bag in a minute.
Right?
I know, right?
And which one is she going
Which
to have?
one's the biggest
The
one?
protective
The bottom bag is the
No,
biggest one.
I know, but the
think.
protective behaviors might be the most,
Yes.
might be the most...
Oh, okay, the heaviest maybe.
Well, not the heaviest, but it's just where it comes from.
Okay, that's true. So, to get down to it, you know, the bottom line is that the intentional dialogue is to help control our reactivity when we're in conversation or dialogue, and to help us to make sense of what's happening in the moment. And I always say, and Don and I are both going to be talking about the brain this weekend, but the one thing that I like to say, and I use my hand a lot, is, you know, I have the barrel of monkeys back here rattling the cage, and then I have the zookeeper here. It's trying to control that reactivity and not run away with yourself. And the beauty of this, the intentional dialogue, is going to be to help you to do that. So that you learn how to sit on your world, you know, and as we're going through the weekend, we will help explain what these terms mean. Do you have anything you want to add? Because you look like you were going to say something.
No, I'm just thinking.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, it's not okay.
No, I just,
Yeah,
Just it's funny because you said your mom was stressed out, anxiety,
very.
but wasn't, but also like wasn't attached to you or not attached to you.
She
but
couldn't attach. It was really hard
it's
for her
funny
to
because,
attach. Really hard.
She said that I'm like emotionally intelligent because my mom is super emotionally intelligent, yet she's the most stressed out,
Anxious
anxiety-
person.
Yeah, and guess who's that? Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I get it with people, I can attach to people, but
Yeah.
I am like a freaking nervous wreck all the time.
You
Yeah.
don't look nervous
And
or stressed out right now.
I-
You flip flops.
I
You're pretty comfortable.
Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't get that from you.
but it's just so funny. And then my dad is just total easy breezy, different type of person.
Right, more laid back.
Not me. Oh, so laid back. He's beers on a boat for the rest of his life.
I love it.
Opposites attract,
You know,
right?
so
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about the intentional dialogue, and I appreciate you saying that because that can show up in your dialogue with each other. So in terms of doing the dialogue, it helps you to sort of rein that in more. But your partner also knows how to help you. So the beauty of the intentional dialogue is it's not just for us, it's for our partner. Because it helps our partner to feel like we've got their back, that we understand them, and that they're heard. Does that make sense?
Okay, and how do we get to that?
Tomorrow you'll find out.
Tomorrow. Okay. Yes, I want to get to that.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to have you guys turn to pages 8 to 11. Does anybody need a break? You all need a break, anybody, or is everybody good? Good? So this is the intentional dialogue that you're going to see in your book. So this is a skill. We work really hard at it. Are we always perfect and spot on? No. But what's wonderful is when we start to fall out, it's not exact all the time, but we pause, because pause is in there. Because we realize that we've fallen off of the Imago train. So if I start to feel myself getting reactive, what I will say is, and again, we're going to get more into this tomorrow, so right now I'm feeling like I'm getting reactive. And I think I need to just take a breather instead of, what are you talking about? You understand what I'm saying? So it's learning how to keep yourself safe, learning how to keep your partner safe, and learning how to keep the sacred space between you safe. Because those are three elements. Because the space between you is a sacred space that exists between you. Right?
I'd like to think so.
I think so.
Hmm.
I definitely think
Definitely.
so. Okay, so we all need to learn how to have a dialogue because most of us are great at monologuing. Blah blah blah, I feel like this, and blah 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 blah, and yeah, and as soon as your partner, yeah, but but I feel that way too, It's like I want to ride on the monologue train. So the wonderful thing about the intentional dialogue is that it puts you on the dialogue train. Because a monologue is just you talking. There's nothing happening from your partner at all.
Yes, ma'am.
So dia means two, mono means one. So if you look at this, sender and receiver, I always say that it is so important, we say in Imago, is to check in to see if now is a good time to talk. So Don.
Yes, dear.
You actually ask?
Yes.
Because
Not
I'll
just
tell you what
talk when you
happens.
feel
Okay,
like
so
it?
see what's going on right now with Don?
Playing
So if I
video game.
started to talk, I know, right? If I started to talk at Don, and Don isn't focused, and I say, I just wanted to ask you, what are you planning on doing today, and are you like in a good place, and blah, 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 blah. And Don's kind of like in his own galaxy.
If you give me a minute.
No, but if I say to Don, is now a good time to talk?
That's what I'm trying to say, and I can say, if you give me a minute, I got something really profound that I'm putting down here.
Right. Okay.
And if you just give me 1 second.
So I'm just going to keep
To
going
highlight
through this, okay, if you don't mind?
Oh no, I thought you wanted to talk to me.
No.